it's worth every penny. And you like, it is like life changing. I know that sounds very dramatic, but like your the way you think about things, like your outlook on yourself changes. Like you just leave and it's like now I'm living a completely different life because I have a completely different attitude. Like I respect myself, I appreciate myself, and I never in a million years will be able to get to that point without this.
Okay, perfect. Good. I think I do have it recording already. Cool. So, oh my God. At least we didn't have to go for like third time's the charm type of situation. I'm so sorry. You're like an
That's
angel.
okay.
Thank you for being patient
I
with me,
loved
guys.
my reveal session, so I'm
I
completely
know.
fine
And
with.
I'm like, well, at least this time it's not like, she'll get it because she's been there, done that. Like,
Yes.
and the last thing anybody wants is to be rushed through their reveal appointment. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, but I've been doing these Zoom calls and it's so nice to like see everybody because I don't have a good excuse to like reconnect with you guys other than like stalking you on social media. So thank you for, being willing to do it. And usually like, and so far what I've been doing is we just kind of like talk about, why you came in, what it was like, if you were worried or nervous about anything beforehand, and like what actually ended up happening for your shoot. Because, for me, it's like when people reach out, sometimes they're super nervous about it. And then, they come in and it's easy for me to say, oh, don't worry, you're going to be great. You're going to love it. It's going to be awesome. But of course I'm going to say that, like, it's me, I'm doing it, so hearing like feedback from you guys, I feel like has been so helpful because not only do I get your perspective on stuff, but I also can share it with other people that are maybe like nervous or on the fence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll just kind of start from the top and I'm just going to have you like refresh my memory. I know we were bridal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you came in to see me for a bridal boudoir shoot. So tell me a little bit about that.
Drew loved it. It was a great success. He totally didn't expect it, totally shocked. And it's funny, I actually was talking about all this with one of my friends that's getting married in March, and she ended up doing a shoot too because I showed her my book.
Yeah.
And she was like, I would have never even thought to do it. And she goes, I was so nervous. And I was like, it starts off, you get there and you say, oh, I'm doing this for a gift for someone else. And then at the end of the session, you're like, screw the gift. This was for me. Like, I can't wait to do this again. Like, it's funny. The first time you're like, in the beginning, you're like, well, this will just kind of be like a one and done thing. Like, I don't need it for anything else. And then after you're like, oh my gosh, like that felt so good. Like, I love my reveal. It was great that Drew liked the book, but I loved the book. So it's like,
right.
It's weird how it like shifted. And she was like, she ended up going with a different photographer because she had a smaller budget. And she was like, you're completely right. You go into it saying, oh, I'm doing this for my future husband. And I ended it with like, oh my gosh, like I like these pictures. I want these pictures.
Yeah.
Like, this is for me.
Yeah. And I like, that was really hard for me in the beginning when I first started doing boudoir because like a lot of people come in and it's like with the idea of giving a gift, and so they're
or needing a reason.
They're doing it for a significant other. And I used to be like, oh, you don't need to do it for them. Don't worry. And I don't say anything. I don't like ever, like, oh, poo poo on the other person or anything like that. But I just like sit quietly and I wait because I know inevitably they get to that point where they're like, oh no, this was for me. This was definitely for me. So I don't even have to like, sometimes I feel like people need that like gift to justify treating themselves to doing this. You know what I mean? And I'm okay with that because in my world, I always say that like, this is one hell of a gift, but it's a gift and it's for you. So like nobody loses, everybody wins here. Like if you want to just justify it with the gift idea, I'm on board with it. We'll throw in a couple of pictures for that,
Yeah.
Now, so when did you give your gift for the wedding? Did you like wedding day or the day before? How did you do it?
We did the day before because our rehearsal dinner was on Thursday. And
Okay.
then we got ready separately, and I didn't want, like, it was hard to give it to him if we did it the day of. So we ended up doing the night before, which was
Cool.
awesome. Yeah.
So you were separate then, or were you together?
When I gave it to him, we were together.
Oh, cool, cool. So
Yeah.
you got that like firsthand reaction. You got to see it.
Yes.
I like that. It's fun because sometimes people will do it where it when they're separated and then they have, maybe they'll have somebody record their,
Yeah.
person's
Yeah.
reaction, and that's cool. But like being there is
It's
super
less,
cool.
I feel like it was less special if I wasn't there. Like, I wanted
Yeah.
to see his reaction, and like, I didn't want somebody else to get that kind of like, oh, getting to witness that. Like, that's also part
I
of like the
know.
gift. Like, I want to
Yeah.
be there for it, not
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And everybody's
Yeah.
like different. Some people are like, there's no way with the group of people that my husband's going to be with that day, there's no way he's going to get to have any time to himself. They're going to rip this thing from his hand so fast, and they're like,
Yeah.
no. So,
Yeah.
or then they're like, oh God, I'd have to ask my dad to record the reaction. I can't do that.
Right. Or even like, even our photographer, like, I loved him, but like, I don't know if I would want that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. One time it was really cool. I actually, before I totally like got rid of doing weddings and babies and families, like before I fully only specialized, I used to do weddings, and I had a client where I did her boudoir pictures and I was her wedding photographer.
Oh, wow. That's
So
really cool.
it
That's a
was
cool
so
experience.
amazing because I got to photograph the groom, opening up his gift. And I already knew what it was. So it
Yeah.
was like so exciting, but yeah, definitely gratifying. So, okay. So then you did album, right? Yeah. And now, like, what do you think? What was like his feedback on when he like opened it? Did he know what it was? Did he like, was it sort of like, what is this? And then open and,
Yes. Yeah. Cause he was confused because I gave it to him in the box that it came in, like
okay,
the
yeah.
fancy box.
Yeah.
So he like wasn't sure until he like went through it, and then immediately wanted one to hang on the wall. So we, right after we got back
Yeah.
from our honeymoon, we ended up ordering like an acrylic
Yeah.
image, and we put it on the wall.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
love, love, love.
So then
So
I
then
was
you
like, "Yay,
also,
like, you like it enough to have it on the wall."
uh-huh, uh-huh. Now, is it one that you would have picked to go on the wall?
Ironically, no.
Okay. Oh, that's
Like,
interesting.
I had a different pick of what I wanted on the wall, and he
Yeah.
said no.
Oh, that's
He
so
had a
funny.
favorite. So I thought it was very funny we both had different favorites.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really
Yeah.
good point. Now, before I talk about that, send me later, text me and show me what picture you got because
I
I
will.
want to
Yeah.
remember. I don't remember. But I always tell people this. So sometimes when people come in and they're picking out their pictures, they're like, I'm trying to think of what so and so would like, what their significant other would like. And, that can be a little challenging because you're like, well, I like these ones, but what if they don't like these ones?
Yeah.
And I think it's a little different versus like what you're saying, where these were the pictures you presented him and this is what you would have chose for wall art, but this is what he chose. But when you're picking out, like narrowing down your favorites, if you don't get all of your images, I always tell people like, they're not going to know which ones you did not
You
pick.
didn't pick. Yeah.
So I can guarantee you they're going to love what you pick, what you show them, and they're never going to know which ones you didn't go over. So,
Yeah.
it's okay to throw
And
in some just for them, but also like
yeah.
pick the ones you love.
Yeah. And I think that's like after we did, like, we were in process of the reveal, like my mindset changed. Like, this is for me, not for him. So then
Yeah.
it was so much easier to pick the ones that I liked and not thinking, oh, I bet Drew would like that. It was more like, I really like this and he should like it too.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And period.
Yeah.
.com, end of story.
And I'm
Yeah.
almost glad I waited because I wanted something for the wall. But then I was like, well, let's see, let's wait. So I like, it was a nice like reassurance because then he was like, yes, let's do this. Like, it was almost like his idea. And I was like, yeah, I'm
Oh,
totally on
yeah.
board.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That sounds like a great
Yeah.
idea, honey. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So then, after like all is said and done, what do you like? How often do you look at your pictures? Let me start there. Let me ask that question. Do you still
Um,
look at your photos?
yes. Because
How
we have
often?
the book displayed on the nightstand.
Love
So it's
that.
they're very easily to access.
How about you? Do
So
you ever look at your stuff, like your digitals, your anything like that?
so I haven't. I just got a new phone, so I have to re-download the app.
Oh, girl, you better get
So I know. So
on it.
I look at the book a lot just because I
Yeah.
like the book.
Yeah, and it's right there and you're able to have it out. Like sometimes
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, we can't, we have to hide this," so that's why a lot of times people that end up going with like a smaller one, they're usually because it's like I can't keep this on the coffee table, whether, no matter whatever
Yeah.
lifestyle they've got, it just doesn't work for them. So when you can have it out and like use it really as like a statement piece, if I'm being honest,
Yes.
you like have more access to it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and the picture on the wall, it's where it's located in our master. Like it's right by like our closets. So like when we pick out our outfits and when I'm getting dressed in the morning. So it's like cool. Like there is not a day that goes by where I don't see at least one of those pictures.
Yeah, exactly. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Like honestly, what a better way to start your day, because
I know.
there are
And it
days
feels
where I
so
feel
good.
like, yeah, there are days where I'm like, I feel like a bridge troll and I'm like, oh God. But then there's days where I can look at a picture of me. I'm like, I'm still that, you know
Right.
what,
Yeah.
girl? Yeah.
If I can do that and look like that, then today should be no problem.
It's fine. It's totally fine. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. So like, what would you do differently for your next shoot?
I think I would have prepared more in terms of looking at more photos, like more poses, because
Okay.
I was trying to just be like, well, like she knows, so I'll just let her pick. Where like I feel like I wish I would have looked more and been like, ooh, I think I would want to try this, or like
Yes.
I didn't. You don't know until you know, like, and you don't know what
Yes.
you don't know. So I think
Exactly.
I would change that, but I think that's it.
Now, what kind of poses would you want more of? Like, are you
Um,
drawn to something? Because so what I find sometimes is clients, when they come in, if they're nervous, they really just sort of go with the flow. And then the next session, they're like, let's do it a little spicier, or like, let's just crank it up a little notch or something. But sometimes people don't want that. And so I'm curious
yeah,
to know like what you would do differently.
I think I would have went spicier.
Yeah.
I think I really liked like the full body images we did on the bed.
Yes.
So I
Hold on,
think
there's
I
an
would have
ambulance
wanted,
going by. We have the Cleveland ambiance of
yeah.
okay, continue. The full
I think
body
I would
ones
have,
you loved?
yeah, and I think I would have done more like on the floor because like
Ooh,
I
okay, yeah.
liked the ones on the bed, but like I when like see more, especially on your page, like when you post more, like I liked the shadows from that ginormous window in there.
Yep.
Like I
Mhm.
liked those poses. It felt a little bit more spicy.
Yeah. No, I
So like
love that.
you like look at things and you're like, oh, like I wouldn't have ever even thought of that, right? Like, or
Uh-huh.
it's funny now. Sometimes I look and I'm like, that looks like I bet that girl was sweating. Like that was hard to get into. Like after doing it,
Because
you're like that
know,
that does not look as easy as you think it
you
is.
and that isn't it funny, because it's, oh my gosh, it's just like when you like see the photos, they look, one way, and then once you've had a session, you're like, oh my God, like the actual process of getting there is
Correct.
so like, I mean, you're sore the next day at least. And then it's also like there's so much laughter and sweating and like stupid stuff going on in between every shot that nobody
Yeah.
knows until they come in. So
Correct.
yeah. And like going back to like the whole, like with the how you said you watch my feed and you're seeing these pictures, it's funny for me because when I have people come back for their next shoot or they do more than one, um you change as far as like, I don't know what to expect my first shoot, I'm just going to show up. And then the next shoot you're like, okay, I really want some of this and I really want some
Yes.
of that,
Yeah.
because you're not afraid anymore, you're not
Yeah.
nervous, and you're not questioning whether or not you can even do this in the first place.
Yeah. And I think I would have also I really liked some of my outfits, but I think I would have picked different outfits.
Yeah.
Like Um, I really like the garter look, but, like, it's so hard to find them that fit my size. I love my thighs, but they are very large and muscular, and I think I would've made a better effort because, like, now you know what to expect. It's not like,
Yeah.
"Well, we'll see what happens."
Right. Right. Yeah.
So I think
Sort
I
of
would have been more
like,
particular with myself about it.
yeah. Yeah. That's so fun. And like, that's the beauty of doing more than one, is because you can just change it up. Like, I've had, clients come in for like their fourth shoot and it's like, what are we doing today? Like now we're getting really crazy. We're doing like we're like playing with chocolate syrup and like, so like you
Yeah.
can a little bit at a time and you just do all kinds of different stuff. And for me, I love it because I find in our everyday normal life where we feel so normal and just mundane and like, you're like, I'm not a supermodel, but then you get to come in the studio and you're like, I'm gonna
And you
look
get to
like
be one. Yeah.
yes, you
Yes.
do. Yeah, that's awesome. So, what are some things that you were nervous about before you came in? Like, I know you had said something about, like the outfits, the garter belt look, like you really weren't, because you were like, how do I find the right sizing? What else,
Yeah.
like in line with that kind of stuff, were you worried about?
I was nervous about not liking the outfits. Like sometimes I picture them in my head or you try them on at home and it is just different than when you're in front of a camera.
Yeah,
So I think I was really nervous about, did I pick the right outfits? Did I bring the right outfits? Like did I think through like what this outfit would look like in this pose? Because I didn't. I just
right.
picked outfits.
Yeah, because you weren't even thinking about the poses. You were like, I'm just gonna show up and like, let's get this, let's see what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and I think I love the hair and makeup before, and I know that's common-ish for like boudoir shoots, but like I love my makeup. I love my hair. I used the picture from my session with you to give to my makeup artist for my wedding.
Yay! Oh, I'll have
So
to
like
tell. Yeah, they'll love that.
loved it, and like it just felt good. Like it was like anybody who's sad, I want to be like, go take pictures of yourself naked. Get your hair and
Seriously.
makeup done, and you will feel so good.
Seriously, isn't it? Like, yeah. My hope is that when people have their shoot with me, they go home and they take more sexy selfies because like even just doing that, it gives you like that same feeling,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, let me think. So what if we talk about outfits? What about how did you feel? I know you said you felt good when you left your photo shoot, but like compare the day of your shoot when you hold on, do you hear that siren?
Yes.
I think it's gone. Okay, so the day of your shoot, you saw your pictures as we were taking them. Then you come in for your reveal. What would you say the difference is of the pictures in the studio that you saw in the back of my camera versus when you come in for your reveal appointment? And I've done all my editing. Do you feel like they were
I
pretty like much the similar? Like do you feel like when you came in for your reveal, you were like, this is exactly what I remembered? Or do you feel like they were like better?
better. Like I liked that when I was seeing them, I liked what I was seeing, but
Yes.
then I loved what I was seeing when we did the review.
Yeah. I was like, I don't want, I'm like, I feel like she's going to agree with me because this is what happens, but I also didn't want to like put the words in your mouth. So that's what I'm going
Yeah.
for.
Because like the camera is still very like it looked a lot better on the camera than I thought it was gonna look like in like my head in like real life.
That's it, baby. Yep.
And then
So
when
you
we
get
got
to
to the
see them
album part, it was
there.
it was
And you
very
just
like
assume you're like, okay, well, these aren't even edited. So you're showing me pictures right now. Like they can't be what they look like on your Instagram feed, for example. But when you do see them in here, they're pretty dang close. Like they
yeah.
already look good.
It just kept getting better.
Yeah. I love that. I love it so much. Can we go back? What was it, like April or something? When you were in spring,
March.
weren't you? March? Okay.
Yeah, March.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't believe how fast this year went by.
I can't believe that was it, like within the same calendar year.
I know, really. Yeah, sometimes I'll like go back through when I'm like cleaning up my hard drives or whatever, and I'm cleaning out old images and stuff, and I'm like, I see the dates pop up by the names, and I'm like, what? That was like a year ago? There's no way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Okay,
we'll be
so
married almost 6 months already. And it's like, that
I
is
know.
also crazy to me.
Yeah, I know. How is it? Is it good? Do you feel any different?
It was good. I don't want to do it again.
No. Oh yeah.
Like,
So like next time we elope, my next
yes.
husband, I'm eloping. No.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, I told him, I was like, "You're lucky because I don't wanna ever have to plan this wedding again."
Yeah. Yeah.
So you
That's
should
so
count
funny.
that as a reason to not leave.
Right? Or like, you know what? Listen, I have heard so many stories and I always think about this with like wedding planning stuff when, have you ever heard of like people who are like they get married and they literally get divorced within 24 hours or something? Have you ever heard of
Yes.
that? Or like
Yeah,
a
where
week
it's very quick.
or
Yeah.
like after their honeymoon? I'm like, and people are like, how is that even possible? I'm like, you want to know why? Because they knew they had just planned this whole wedding. They were not going to not enjoy it. They were going to get through their day and enjoy it, all the hard work and money, and then just do what they were going to do anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yes. It's
That's
a lot of
always
work.
because yeah, but I eloped, so like I don't know firsthand, but I've seen it. I've worked with so many brides. I've heard all the stories, and y'all really put the work in.
And
So
you put the work in for months, and then, like, I'm glad we took a lot of my friends didn't take their honeymoon immediately after their wedding, and I'm so glad we did because, like, you're on kind of a high, and it
yeah,
would
I
suck to
agree.
just, like, turn around and just go home.
Right. Like that was very anticlimactic. Like what the
Yeah.
heck? I
Like,
mean,
the
you want
honeymoon,
to
I felt
just
like
like
was a
you want to look at each
reward.
other? You want to play Monopoly or something?
Right.
Like well done. Yeah.
It was a reward for my hard work. Had nothing to do with our marriage.
And that's the tea. That's
Yeah.
exactly what everybody else is thinking, but Erica's willing to say. So
Correct, yes, I'll say it every day and twice on Sunday.
yeah, right. My other question for you would be, what would you tell somebody that is thinking of coming in, but is unsure or is like on the fence about it? Or they're like, I don't think I could do this, or I don't have the body for that, or I'm too old for that. Like if they're thinking all those things, what would you say?
It's worth every penny, and it is, like, life-changing. I know that sounds very dramatic, but, like, your the way you think about things, like, your outlook on yourself changes, like, you just leave, and it's like, now I'm living a completely different life because I have a completely different attitude. Like, I respect myself, I appreciate myself, and I never in a million years would be able to get to that point without this. Like,
Oh my
you don't know how
God.
life-changing it is until you leave, and you're like, why was I ever nervous? Why did I ever hesitate?" Like, once you know, and then you
You
never go
can't
back.
unknow it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like so that's I agree with you. I love that you're like, not to be dramatic, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm always dramatic and I'll just be honest about it. But this, I'm not kidding you. It's like it's one of those things where it's like ignorance is bliss, but like once you know, you can't ever like
It, like,
go
unlocks a
back.
part of you never knew existed.
Yeah. And
Like,
it's like
I compare it to people. My mom laughs when I talk like this, but, like, we growing up, we had dogs, but, like, they weren't like family dogs. They were like hunting dogs. So, like, I
okay,
didn't like you just love them differently.
sure.
Well, we got our first in-house dog, and, like, all of a sudden, there's all this, like, love you didn't know existed. And
Yeah.
my mom laughs and she always goes, "Wait till you have a kid. Like, you think you can't do it. You think you can't love someone. You think, well, I already know what it's like." She goes, and all of a sudden you have this baby and you're like, whoa, like, I had no idea that, like, you can have feelings like this. So she's like, if you feel
Yeah.
that way about your dog, wait till you have a kid. And I was like, but that's exactly how you feel leaving because you're all of a
Yeah.
sudden like, holy cow, like, I never would be saying these things about myself or, like, using those words with, like, pictures of me, like, naked. I would never be using those words. And now you're like, "Oh my gosh, like, why was I ever saying bad things?"
Yes.
Like, it
Yeah. Oh,
unlocks
I
whole new level.
yeah. And I love that because like it's like this thing where there's no other like experience that I can think of that would like, you know, be that, like that would replicate that. I just
Yeah.
don't know what else to do other than like, you cannot know that there's another version of you if you don't ever see it. And you have to take a risk and
Yes.
take a leap of faith. But also, finding somebody that is professional, I think is important,
Yes.
but everybody's at different levels of their like self-love journey, if you will. So like, I never guarantee, oh, if this is going to change your life. Like, I just tell people it's definitely going to be, like a brand new perspective of you. I mean,
Yeah.
I would say I feel really confident that you know, when people say, oh, I don't know if I have the body for this, or I don't look like that anymore, or I'm too old, or blah, blah, I'm always like, I really take that as a challenge. Or people are like, oh, I'm not serious. I don't know how to be sexy. And I'm like, again, challenge accepted.
Just
I've
you
got you.
wait. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Okay. I think that's all I have for right now. I am going to send you that survey. That's
Okay.
kind of like the gist of it, the question I just asked you. So, but thank you again for taking the time. And it's so good to see your face. So let me know when you're ready for round 2 and we'll get it going.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, beautiful. I'll talk to
All
you
right.
soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.